Hello and welcome to a very special episode of Adopted Geordies brought to you by BetMGM. I'm Andy Jaye, the club captain who's basically turning into Mr. Bionic. Do you remember that show, The $64 Million Man? That's now Rob Lee. He's having various different body parts replaced. It's currently the knee, isn't it, Rob?
It is the knee at the moment, yeah. I've got a new knee. I should be fit for the cup final, I reckon.
There we go. So the reason why he's not in the studio is because he's bedbound with his dicky knee, which is actually now a perfect knee. It's replaced by the youth of I don't know, so probably not a young knee. Where did the knee come from, Rob?
Well, no, listen, I had one knee which was a 25-year-old knee, and I had an 85-year-old knee. Now, hopefully, I've got a 20-year-old knee and a 25-year-old knee.
Well, so, there you go.
Bruno, watch out if you're not playing well.
Well, I'm just starting the process now. I've got bone on bone at the moment, so I'm in a little bit of agony at the moment.
Oh, now that is the fabulous dulcet tones. If you're listening to this episode rather than watching, if you're watching, you already know who this is.
We're doing a medical episode. That's what we're doing.
Yeah, it feels like old
compare knees.
I'm going to talk you through it.
It's brilliant.
This is Graham. This amazing Graham Robson from Wor Flags. This whole episode is dedicated to the finest, one of the greatest things to come out of St James's Park in recent seasons is the amazing atmospheres, the incredible displays. No, I mean, look, this is the thing. I mean, I've told you guys this because we're in a WhatsApp group now. I have nothing but admiration and joy for all the things that Wor Flag do, which is why I want to kind of have a dig into it. But what I want to say from a kind of perspective, just standing away from it, is as a Newcastle fan, it sends the hairs on the back of your neck and you can't wait to see what you guys are coming up with and so on. But actually, away from it, in the last, 5-6 seasons, maybe a little bit more than that, we've had that many non-Newcastle fans going, hey, the atmosphere there, look at that. I wish our club was like that. And Graham, this kind of sits with you and a fantastic team of people that work together to make this happen. So Graham, just talk us through the history of Wor Flags.
It was basically started, it was like when we had Rafa, and it was looked like he was going to be leaving. And then that last game would have been 2016 when we beat Spurs 5-1. And the atmosphere of that game was like, it was like a throwback to the 70s type of thing. It was just amazing that it was just constant for 90 minutes. And then it was true. Faye put a message out just saying, like, we should maybe start trying to keep that for the season and keep it going for the following season. So, like, we arranged a meeting in the Strawberry Pub.
Brilliant.
And I believe, I can't remember now, like, people might correct us, but I think there was about, like, a dozen of us there. People who are left in the group now, I think there's only me, Dan, who you'll be speaking to soon, another lad, Chris Herron, and I think that's about it, because people have like come and gone, what have you. So anyway, we just got together and we thought, like, how can we do this? So we just went on social media. There was a Newcastle online forum, we went on there, and we just started like basically asking for money, set up a bank account. We got the first game was against Huddersfield, and we ordered 475 flags. And we thought we'd just do the Gallagher. We'll call Gallagher flags then. So then that's how it started. Basically, we got beat.
So do you sort of like, do you decide who makes them? What are you going to do?
It was just like, there was a lot of just black and white stripes, vertical, horizontal, stuff like that. We got them from Poland. Dan, he designed a few with like crests on and stuff like that. We met Lee Marshall from the club, who's been absolutely brilliant. Lee's like the fifth Beatle type of thing. He's been absolutely fantastic. At the time, under Ashley, Lee had about 5 jobs. So, because not many people worked at Newcastle at that time. So he was our point of contact, and he was brilliant. So he got permission for us to use the crest from the club on the legal side, because that can be quite dodgy, you know. People,
especially with Mark Ashley in charge.
Exactly. To be honest, weirdly, Rob, we had like he just didn't seem to care. No. It just what we did, really. I mean, even when we did the big Keegan banner, you know, one day you get your club back and all that.
Yeah.
I don't think he gave a toss, really.
Wow.
I think it was just.
And
It was just.
who actually decides? Like, if you do the Keegan one or you do
It's like
Alex
a
Shearer
joint
one,
thing,
or
really. We throw a lot of ideas. We're in a WhatsApp group, and you've seen nothing. Like, I mean, it starts at about like one of the lads, Johnny. He's a baker, so he's first on about 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning, and then it just goes on through the day. And if you don't keep on top of it, there's literally it can get about 1,000 messages in a day. Sometimes it's crazy, and then we'll just semi-argue amongst ourselves, and then all of a sudden it'll just be like somebody will say something, and then it just builds from there and stuff like that.
That's the thing
so
that
you
has
ages to
amazed
get a
me.
Rob Lee one. I'm a bit disappointed. To be fair.
We got a special Rob Lee one, Rob.
Exactly.
Shearer got one before me.
It is very difficult because, as you appreciate, there's only like 19 home games and a few. You might not get any cup games, so trying to like keep everybody happy type of thing can be quite difficult.
Must be really difficult. Yeah. Did you get anyone complaining?
Just the players. Why haven't I got one?
Well, I mean, this is the thing that they
though.
keep saying about Jacob Murphy, isn't it? Murphy keeps appealing for a song, and there's part of me that feels really bad for him because
I know.
Sometimes he'll turn in really great performances and score all these goals, and he'll run back. No one's singing his name because there isn't. And I keep thinking to myself, well, it's hard. It's a difficult one to rhyme. But that's the thing, though, Graham. You've managed to be note perfect, game in, game out. You've managed to capture what the fans are thinking. It's one of those things where you'll put up a display, like when you had the Isaac one, for example. It was almost like you guys had recognised. Listen, there's a lot of
that was my idea. That one
was it brilliant? There's a lot of noise.
I just thought it was just because I wanted like the actual IKEA badge.
Yeah.
But because of the yellow oval, it was going to prove a little bit difficult, so we just stuck with that one. But that one actually, that like wiped us out financially because the files are quite expensive.
Are they?
But I think the impact it had was just, it was really
it was amazing that was.
I mean,
and it was a little bit like before that. Everybody knows we've got a big Keegan one, and then we're coming up to play Liverpool, and we hadn't been playing that well. And I must admit, I was one of the ones who was arguing, just crack on and do it. But like a lot of the group said, no, the time's not right. So we pulled it, and then we just had get into them.
Yeah.
And we put that up, and I was wrong. Everybody else was right. It was perfect.
It was amazing. And the thing is, as a fan, it's so brilliant to be part of it. I was there at the Liverpool 3-3 game. I was there and I was waving at it. You just feel so proud. You're kind of giving it some. But then every now and again, do you remember the Brighton game where the massive banner didn't unfurl? And that felt like it's like seeing one magpie. It's like, no, it hasn't.
That looked quite nice, actually.
I know, but it's the song, isn't it? One for Sorrow and all that.
I know.
And when the banner didn't unfurl, it was just like, hang on, what's going to happen? And of course, we get a sucker punch and lose the game 1-0 at a time when we've been playing really well. And I thought that was a sign. Wasn't it? Yeah. So we need the flags to come out.
We are quite lucky that cock-ups. We haven't really had many. There's that one. There's a city skyline banner that we had backwards. I don't know if anybody noticed, but it was like quite hard to tell. So we got away with that one. And I think that's about it, really.
It's been amazing.
What have you got in the pipeline for Wembley?
It's big.
Or is it a secret?
It is. I mean, for Wembley, the club do help out a little bit because it's so big.
Yeah.
And the gap between like the semi-final and the final, it's not that long. So fundraising is difficult. So we do ask the club to help, which I did last time with all the files. But this time, actually, we've done a lot of the fundraising ourselves because every league game is fan-funded where like people say, why don't you get the club to help? We don't want them to. We want it to be fan-funded. It just makes it special for us, I could probably, is it a secret? There's going to be a big survey.
Yeah, good.
Well, the thing is, Graham,
flags.
We're putting this out the week of the final. With the reason for the timing of this episode is because we want to make as much noise and attention as we can about Newcastle turning London black and white. I don't want to see any red anywhere in the capital. Definitely not in Wembley.
This is a weird thing. It was like last time. even this time, I've got so many friends who are going down without tickets.
Yeah.
They're just going down for the crack, just for the weekend. And it's happening. Because I thought after the last one, that might not happen as much this time. I think it's happening more, even more so. There's like more people are going this time who didn't go last time.
The Geordies love a day out in London, don't they? They love a couple of days in London.
Mind you, you have that thing, Graham, that as fans, it's the thing we always want to say. We always want to take an ownership of if the team's done well. We want to say that it's because we did something. And it, before Wor Flags, for me, it was things like, oh, well, I wore my lucky pants or whatever.
Yeah.
I wore the same outfit that I wore when we won 5-0
I still do
it
that.
might be. Exactly. You like to think you've got some kind of claim on it, right? But the fact is, Graham, that you guys, the thought you put in, the planning, the preparation, the care that you give to these displays means that you can have a tangible impact. You know that you can not just lift the crowd, but the players are going to see what you're putting out. You're giving them direct messages from the fans as the voice of the fans. And you're saying, Bruno, we see you. We love what you're doing. Isak, stay. Gordon, sign a new contract. Guess what he does? You can go to bed at night going, I am part of this team.
It's funny because like when you say the standout moments for me is when we did the Spanish one for Rafa, the Spanish code.
Yeah.
And you might be able to dig the photograph up, but when he comes out, he's standing by the dugout and he looks up and his face, and I get goosebumps now just thinking about it. Just his face, you can just see and I think Bruno, when he nearly started crying when we had the Brazilian display.
Yeah. Amazing.
For him and Joe Linton, I just love that. And you can see it really means something to them. And we get feedback through Lee Marshall that Eddie thinks it really does make a difference.
Yeah.
And I think that one of the biggest standout is when we beat Arsenal 2-0 when we did the giant blue star. I think we beat Arsenal in the tunnel.
That's right. Yes, I was there for that. That was
young lads.
about 3 seasons ago, wasn't it? 3-4 seasons.
Yeah.
Penultimate game of the season, wasn't it?
That's
Our
right,
last home game. Yeah, and Amanda and Murdad did a little tour at the end of the
That's
crowd.
right.
That's right. And the foils. Oh, what a display.
And I think the flag. I'm not saying the flags beat the opposition, but I think it's all part of the thing, And I think when the crowd gets in and it's Arsenal, so they're up for it anyway.
Yeah.
But then when they see all the flags, it just raises the volume. And like I say, I think Arsenal, when they came out, I think they were gone. I think they were beaten.
It was,
and we were brilliant that day as well.
Graham, we are about to have Ben join us, so I hate to cut our time short.
Not a problem.
But it's been such a pleasure talking to you, and I got to say, please keep doing this because it has. I mean, you guys had a policy which I think most of us agreed with, which was if Rafa goes, we go. So you did when Rafa left, and
yes, we had hiatus. We couldn't.
No.
We couldn't pretend that everything was rosy in the garden, and it was difficult because you still want to support the players, but it was just something bigger than that.
Yeah,
and it was just. But like I say, come that that day, 7th of October, when it came over, when Keith Downey said it's happened, and it went to Jesmond Dean, Johnny from the group Johnny's been there from the start. He phoned us up. He says, "Graham, have you got any flags?" I said, "I've got 3 or 4 in the shed." So we quickly jumped in the car. It was me, Johnny, my son, and Ben, who you're going to speak to. That was his. He hadn't actually joined the group by then. He was my son James's friend.
Oh, cool.
So we went over and we went to the SO garage at Barrett Road, and we got some poles and we put them up, and you could hear the noise. And I don't know if you've seen it. There's a photograph of me walking down the middle with a giant big black and white scarf and Keith Downey. I'm behind Keith Downey. And then, honestly, we walked around. I mean, I'll tell you now, I burst into tears. When I walked around the corner, the roar that went up. Because, the party had been going on for a few hours by then.
Yeah.
You could just hear people shouting, it's the flags. The flags are back. And it was just like, oh, God.
Yeah.
And I just burst into tears. It was just, I just hear the flags are back. It just meant everything's sort of reset.
Yeah. Well, please never go. Please stay forever.
We're staying for a while.
Brilliant. Graham, the last question for you is, because this is the week of the final. We do take on Liverpool at Wembley Stadium on Sunday. Have we got a chance? Are we going to do it? What's your heart say?
Hand on heart, when we played Man U, I knew we were going to get beat. I don't know what it was. I just knew we were there for the party. It was just there to, and it was weird after we got beat. It sounds a bit weird. I didn't care because I knew bigger things were coming. I've just got this feeling this is our year. It's got to be. I've been to Wembley 7 times now, and I've been disappointed every time. And I'm 62 now, so we've got to. But no, honestly, I've just got a feeling. I think we will turn up.
All right, I'll take
and
that.
I think a certain Italian midfielder is going to make the difference.
It does have Tonali Masterclass written all over it, doesn't it? Maybe.
I've got a feeling that bloke's just going to run the show. I don't know what it is. He'll protect his Pirlo, he'll protect the back, and he'll just dictate things.
We'll be there, mate. Fingers crossed.
We will.
Graham, I can't wait to see what you're going to do. We don't have to wait much longer. But
you don't.
Regardless, it is brilliant watching everything you do, and you're clearly such an instrumental figure there, the driving force behind Wor Flags. So thank you on behalf of an adopted Geordie. I love it, absolutely love it. Brilliant. And I hope that it just keeps going because it lifts all of us, and it's just the coolest thing ever. So thank you.
I really appreciate your kind words. That's lovely.
Pride. That's amazing.
Thanks, lads.
There you go, Graham.
So, we now welcome to Adopted Geordies another member of Wor Flags. Like I say, this is a Wor Flags special. And Ben, please step in. I believe that one of your main roles with Wor Flags is you're in charge of some of the social stuff. Is that correct?
I am, yes. I'm not very good at it. We've got some very talented people who try and help make TikToks and Instagrams, and I'm the person that clicks the button ready to go.
So they send you the stuff and you just upload it?
Yeah, all of our TikToks in particular are all made by a girl called Emily, who volunteers with the flags, putting them out in seats and everything, and then making things for social media as well. Brilliant.
So, Ben, just talk us through your relationship with Newcastle as a club and the fan base and how you got involved in the flags and all the rest of it. Have you been a fan since as young as you can remember, or did you get into it since the takeover? What's been your relationship with the club?
I've been a fan since birth.
Brilliant.
My mum supported the club for many years, and my dad has as well. And they've brought me up into it. I've had a season ticket for 13 years now. So I've had the hardships. I've had some good times as well.
You sat through some tough games.
Oh, you sat through some rubbish.
I have. I'm glad you said that, Rob, not me.
I can say that.
So yeah, I joined the Flags when the takeover happened. So conveniently Graham was on before me. So I became friends with Graham's son in lockdown. We both drink at the same pub. It was very convenient. And I just got a text off him on takeover night saying, "Do you want to come and wave some flags at St James's Park?" Who's going to say no?
Yeah, brilliant. The ultimate party. In fact, so were you part of that scrum where Sam Fender was in the middle?
I wasn't there. You can see me wave the flag, but I wasn't actually in and amongst it.
Oh, because that was a moment, wasn't it? He just kind of appeared by the statues and was just like, all right, let's keep partying. So our viewers know that we are recording this the day after the dress rehearsal that wasn't at Anfield, which of course was a game we lost 2-0, which was a real shame. Isak didn't start. He didn't feature at all, which could have made a big difference because Wilson had 2 sitters that Isak, you suspect, might have buried. And then it's a different outcome, isn't it? But we've just got to hope that we do have a different outcome at Wembley. What's your hunch, Ben? Where do you sit on it?
Unlike Graham, I've only been once, and It was the Manchester United one a couple of years ago. So I've only ever known not scoring, and which a lot of.
So do you know the last person to score at Wembley?
It was you, wasn't it?
He doesn't like to mention it, Ben. He doesn't like to talk about it. Ben. It's not.
But I wasn't alive.
That's
There's not a
talk
dead
about
soul in
full
that.
circle. That's put you right in your place, Rob.
That's made me really old now. I'm going to just go off my walking stick and off I go.
I've heard all about it though, and I've watched it a few times.
There you go. There you go. Does it still feel as magic for you, Ben, when you know what the display is going to be, when you've seen, you've had the WhatsApp chats that have started it all, you've decided on the slogans and whatever the visual's going to be, when you see it come to life after you've spent hours rigging St James's and everything like that, does it feel as magic as it does for us seeing it for the first time?
It's even better.
Is it?
So we go back and I've seen it like on all the spreadsheets and everything, like an Excel spreadsheet with every seat in St James's. They've randomly putting waivers out in seats, albeit the wrong seats at times, but only we know that. So we'll pick faults in it really easily, but it's even more special. Like a few seasons ago when it was the Arsenal game where we had the blue star and the Leeds end, I think a lot of us came together and were very emotional after that display.
Yeah, I bet.
Likewise, things like PSG in the Champions League. So hopefully there's many more like it because they're just phenomenal to see it from our point of view. Yeah,
that's really good to hear because, you give the fan base such a lift. So to know that you guys are getting so much out of it as well kind of makes it really worthwhile. Ben, tell me, how many flags get lifted? How many disappear?
It depends.
I mean, Rob tried to keep his. I'll be honest with you. He didn't want to give his back.
I still don't know where that's gone, by the way. That looked great in my lounge.
It looks good in mine as it happens, Rob.
It's in your bedroom. Don't worry about that.
That's it.
I think there is a fair few that disappear. We had a lot at the start where people were being called out for having one on the metro.
Oh yeah, I bet.
Running off with flags. It became like a flags policing thing. It happens less frequently now, though.
And do you think that's because people realise, actually, this is a bit naughty and it's serving a much greater good keeping it in the stadium?
Yeah, I think when it was going to the stand for the first time, like say if it went to the Leeds end when we hadn't done it ever, it was like a special thing and people wanted to try and take them. But now it's everywhere. If you leave it on your seat, it's going to be there the next game, or might be moved if it needs repaired or things. But it's going to be there for you regardless.
Yeah, totally. Ben, listen, we really appreciate your time. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for being part of Adopted Geordies Wor Flags special today. I said this to Graham. I'm going to say it to you as well. It's a huge thank you for the work you guys put in. Please keep doing it because I don't know if you guys realise how much we fans love it, but you just... Whether you're there experiencing it and waving the flags, or whether you're watching, from telly or whatever, or just seeing the photographs on social media, it just gives you such a sense of pride in the team. And you guys are doing that, and you're doing it game in, game out. So it's a massive thanks, man.
Thank you very much. It's always for the fans, by the fans.
So we say goodbye to Ben and we welcome the third member of our Wor Flags trio today, the marvellous Dan Lycett. Dan, how are you doing? Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, I'm good, eh?
Now let's talk about Wor Flags because we've heard from Graham and he feels like, correct me if I'm wrong, Dan, but Graham feels like the kind of godfather of Wor Flags,
Yeah, Graham's our leader.
Love that. I didn't want to use the word leader.
Not officially, but like that's how we all feel.
It's like the kind of spiritual voice of wisdom and
star of Amazon.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I recognised him immediately. I was like, come on, that's good to see him. And so, what's your role then, Dan? If he's the leader, so to speak, what does that make you? Are you the lieutenant?
I do most of the creative. So over the years. From the very start until now, I've been involved with most of the displays.
Fantastic. So how does that... Graham was saying that it kind of starts with a WhatsApp group where someone will just chuck something in, and then sometimes 1,000 messages will follow during the day, but by the end of the day, there's the germ of an idea, and that might be Isaac Sweden, IKEA colours,
Normally what will happen is we'll have an idea, and then over a period of time, I'll go away and I'll create some artwork. Everyone will tell us how rubbish it is and they hate it, and I'll go away and I'll do it again until everyone likes it.
So, what's your background then, Dan? Are you a professional artist?
So I'm a graphic designer and an artist. Yeah,
fantastic.
What's been your favourite one, Dan?
Favourite ever display?
Yeah,
I really like Leicester the night qualified for the Champions League. That was a good one.
The Rob Lee one
I
wasn't
think
bad
what
either,
else?
was it?
PSG. I was really invested in the PSG game. That was just the
I
whole
was in
thing.
PSG. PSG was amazing. I just said that was the best atmosphere I've ever witnessed playing or watching. That was
Yeah,
past
it was up
Barcelona.
there,
That was. It was
definitely.
amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, it was just something special, wasn't it? I think you could feel like the tension in the city, not just the ground. Like we spent about a week in the stadium, like getting things set up because there was all the stuff around, like UEFA being in, setting up the stadium with their branding and stuff, so we couldn't be in the regular times we would be. So it was like a couple of hours here, a couple of hours there, and you could just feel the tension around the place. Like I say, not just in that stadium, not just in the ball, but like around the whole city that entire week in the build up, and it just built to that crescendo of the sort of 10 minutes before kickoff where it was just like sort of tingly, wasn't it? That in the air, that electricity that was about, and you could feel it.
And do you know actually? You know when you've done it all and all the different games. You know when you've got it perfect, when some things are like not quite, or you would notice as the designer, oh, that wasn't quite. No one else will notice.
No,
But
you don't in the moment. You know, I don't think any of would do. I think you're all so concerned about how it transfers to the pitch. Well, I think
so are you watching? I know you do. I know it's a
if
stupid question. Are you watching the game, or you actually look around the flags and thinking?
Oh no,
The
the game, 100% football.
game, yeah.
I think we've always said, I think if what we do can add 1% to what the players give, what they achieve, what they do on the pitch, then it makes it all worthwhile. And so
I think it does.
It all goes into creating that. And I don't think any of us really think about it until half time after the game. And it's a afterthought. You do it, you hope it has the effect you want, and you think about it later on.
Well, let's talk about the impact, Dan, because it's easy for us to sit here and say, no, it makes such a difference because we know, because we love seeing it. We love being part of it. I love waving the flags when I'm there. I love watching them if I'm not there. And it just, it sets you up. It sets the players up for a performance. But there must be moments where because you've pre-planned it. It's almost like programming the players. It's almost like that kind of rousing speech that you expect Eddie to give at half time or whatever. You know that what you're doing is going to emotionally affect some of our lads, and it's going to help them. So what games in particular can you think I did that? I'm part of that.
I think there's times where we're getting it really right. PSG being a prime example, the whole message, the display, everything. Arsenal at the end of the season a couple of years ago, it was bang on, and you can feel it. You can feel it while it's happening because you feel that almost electricity in the ground, and it tends to be for bigger games.
Well, the Arsenal semi-final.
Yeah, it was a simple one. That it was a really
Yeah.
simple, but the message for the whole cup run for the last couple of years has been scarf. So
Yeah,
doing it and it leading into going to the final and tell me man, all that kind of stuff. It all just sort of fits, and when the message is right. The display doesn't necessarily matter if the message is right.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And the emotion you're trying to get over is there.
And when does it hit you? At what point do you go, I'm a big part of this? Is it during the atmosphere, or is it like days later?
Per display, really. I'll tell you the one that really hit me was we've got the two giant surfers that are the size of the Leazers and the Gallagher, the ones that cover the whole stand.
Yeah. And
I can't remember the exact game, but it was the first time the original one went out in the Leazers. And I sit in the Gallagher, and I'd always been there holding it, making sure it went up. And it went out in the Leazers, and I was in the Gallagher doing whatever was going on over that side. And for the first time ever, I got to watch it rise up the stand. And it was like it's the biggest flag in Europe or something ridiculous like that. And watching it go and move for the first time and seeing what everyone else gets to see, that's the one time during something we've done, it actually hit us, and I went, oh, actually, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. It's really cool. How do you orchestrate that though? How do you get the flag to move in that
Wing
kind
it.
of symphony of? You just wing it.
Absolutely wing it. We've never had a good planning day in our lives. I don't care what any of them have told you before. They're lying. It's all just winging it.
So it's
Best way to do it.
Just hope.
Wing it.
Just hope. We'll figure it
Just
out.
crack on. It'll all turn out all right, man.
It'll be fine.
Because it all seems so well timed and so well planned, but it's just you're just busking.
Fluke. It's all just a fluke.
Well, it's a marvellous fluke that seems to happen at least 19 times a season. So it's
we've had some balls up in the past, man.
I'm going to ask you this one, Dan, and then I want to just talk to you about kind of the importance of what you guys are doing for the region, because I think, Wor Flags it sounds ridiculous, but you know where I'm coming from. Wor Flags have put Newcastle back on the map. Everybody wants our atmosphere. Everybody wants to be in our stadium. Everybody wants to copy what you guys are doing. And I think that brings a great sense of pride for the North East. You're showing that we're not just a bunch of loud fans. We're a bunch of creative, dynamic, artistic, brilliant fans, passionate fans. We don't just bring the noise, we bring the visuals as well. And everyone wants it. Everyone wants to copy it. And what does that mean to you as someone from the North East? Is it something that you cherish? Is it something that you're aware of, or is it just a byproduct?
I never think about it because it's not why I do what I do for the Flags. I do what I do for Wor Flags because of how much I love Newcastle United. Mm. And as long as what we're doing has a positive impact on that squad, anything that it does outside of that I'm blind to it.
Okay.
Because I just don't think about it, because it's not why I'm involved, and it's not why I've spent the last 9-10 years doing it. Every single minute, hour, day we've put into this is all just for the positive benefit of creating a better atmosphere to help improve the chances of that team winning. Whichever team it is, whichever 11 lads are on the pitch. That's the only reason that I do what I do for this group.
Good for you, man.
And,
well,
and it's great that it has had an impact, and people talk about it and people want to be involved, but it's a total afterthought for me.
Nice. Fair play. It's really interesting to hear that, because I tell you, the bigger picture of what you guys are doing isn't just the impact you have on the pitch. It isn't just the atmosphere you create at St James's Park. It's the way you have transformed the visibility of the club and our fan base to the rest of the UK, the rest of Europe, and so on. People want to be like us, and it's because of you guys. It's a big deal. And I think, as someone that has a massive amount of love for the region, parents from the region and so on, but I have no claim on it myself because of my bloody place I was born, it's a great source of pride for me. I love it. I'm so proud of what you guys have done, and I don't really feel I can say that, but I'm saying it because it makes me feel great seeing what you guys are delivering. It's brilliant. And then you see your flags popping up other places, like Sam Fender gigs. I mean, that's pretty cool too, right?
Everyone's took a bit of crack now, don't they?
It's cool though, right? It feels good.
Oh yeah, do you know what? We've had some really amazing experiences because of the Flags, helping out with the Sam Fender gigs. We've done the Andrew Cushion gigs, another local up-and-coming artist who's going to be big in the future. All sorts. I think anyone that supports Newcastle United and then has something, a show, an event, an occasion that they're involved in, they all want to recreate that sort of like Geordie atmosphere, don't they? Especially when they're up here, because it has become famous again. I think because obviously Rob's era, St James's Park was rocking every week because there was a period when we were one of the best teams in Europe, and the atmosphere was rocking as a consequence. And I think the reputation of the fans grew from that. And then you had those years under the previous ownership where it was very still. I mean, we tried for years to create something and keep it going and keep it ticking over. And the reputation kind of lived on from that previous generation. Right. And now you can see it. on the right occasions, it's back.
It's back with a vengeance. It's about because of the time, effort, and passion you guys are putting in. So, Dan, on Sunday, we will see what you're going to do at Wembley, because we're putting this out the week of the final, because I think it's important that we put as much spotlight onto this as we can, and it's a really exciting time. I'm not going to ask you to tell us what's happening, because Graham's already made it clear it's top secret, and that's cool. But you've already been fairly clear that you think we're winning the final on Sunday. But if I was to offer you, because this was the debate a couple of seasons ago when we were in a similar position, if I was to say to you, either we win the cup or we get in the Champions League again, mindful that the Champions League brings massive clubs back to St James's Park, and you guys will do your thing all over again on that European spotlight, as a fan or as a member of Wor Flags, which do you want? Do you want that cup, or do you want fourth?
It's funny, I had this everyone has this conversation in the Run Cup final, don't they? We've had this conversation today with a friend of mine, and a point he made was actually quite sensible. And qualifying for the Champions League this year is, you've qualified 2 out of 3 years. If you've got some of that PSR headroom they talk about, and you can sign some players, you can finally really, really kick on as a club. And so qualifying for the Champions League is almost vital to the club's sort of charge to push on and achieve all the things the owners have said. And when you put it like that, you go, oh, yeah, that makes a lot of sense, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But do you know what? I don't care. I just want to see Newcastle United lift a trophy. Like, personally.
Yeah, no, I'm with you all the way.
We could lift a trophy this season and then be like, right, done, thanks, cheers, lads. Yeah. Well done.
Yeah, I hear exactly what you're saying, because there's this argument, and don't get me wrong, I loved the Champions League. It was so good being back in the Champions League again, because it just felt amazing, and it was a source of great pride and all the rest of it. I'd love us to be back in the Champions League, because of also the ramifications of, yes, you'd expect us to have a bigger budget, you'd be more appealing to certain superstar players that might come and join us, but also you won't have all these whispers of he wants to go there, he wants to leave, he wants to leave. You won't have any of that stuff.
And it's the most valid point in the world.
Yeah.
Like, it makes so much sense to the future expansion of this club.
Yeah. When you look at it like that, it ticks every box. But then, like you say, then there's that, then when you think about it with your heart, you want a cup. You just, we want to be a team that wins.
I'll be a big sobbing mess, mate. I know what I'll be like.
Yeah.
And getting in the Champions League wouldn't give me that same momentary burst of endorphins, that feeling. It'd be amazing and I'll be buzzing, because, I mean, who wouldn't? But you watch football for those moments. Football is a moments game. That screamer that sends you into raptures. Fabian Schär's 4th goal against PSG, where I screamed so much I passed out. Like, they're the moments you want.
That's amazing.
Yeah, the lad I sit with had to pick us up off the floor. I screamed so much when that 4th went in, I physically passed out in St James's Park.
I love that. That's amazing.
And
brilliant.
And a trophy win, regardless of what the trophy is that moment, isn't it? It's that endorphin release. It's that, yes, we've done it moment.
Yeah.
But breeding. God, I can't get my words out. Winning breeds winning.
Right.
Doesn't it? So if you win a trophy, that suddenly gives all those players, we're winners now.
Yeah. Why
can't you then? I think the question, why can't you then push on and in the real world and go, if we win this trophy, that's a boost. Let's push on and win the FA Cup. Let's push on and get in the Champions League and make all those lofty things realistic goals. And if you achieve them or not, it doesn't matter. But like, once you've won something, you're on a platform then.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. Well, I tell you, that was one of the things. I was in that very, very privileged position that I'm acutely aware of, where I got to sit with Bruno and Joe Linton and Isaac a few weeks ago, which was an unbelievable experience. Pinched me all the time, it was amazing. And I said that to Bruno and Joe Linton. I said, look, the big worry is that when you guys win something, you're then going to go, okay, we've made history, we're off. And it's just my own opinion, but I looked them in the eyes as I was saying that, and I felt that they want to stay, like they love this club and they want to win something, and then they want to keep winning. They don't want to win something and go, right, we're off now, bye-bye. He loves it. He absolutely loves this place.
Bruno talks about being in the history books all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, Joe Litton said it on that episode as well, didn't he?
He did. They love it. I mean, bless
Bruno's
them.
got them all
brilliant.
brainwashed.
Well, let's hope keep doing it. That's what I say. Keep doing it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Dan, listen, it's going to be massive, obviously, at Wembley. I guess this is the stuff that makes all the effort, the blood, sweat and tears that you put into this, and all the designing and the countless hours that you must put in. This is the stuff that makes it worthwhile, right? Seeing it in that massive venue, seeing the whole world watching what you're doing, and the pride that must follow.
The Wembley one only matters if we win.
Interesting. Right.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it could be the greatest piece of artwork, it could be the best message, but if we don't win that game, no one's going to care about it.
Well, let's hope it matters then, hey?
I hope it, absolutely. I hope it does its job.
That's
it's
the plan.
It's a display there to inspire the players.
All right.
First and foremost, that's what it's all about. It's not about us, it's not about the fans. It is a message to inspire the players.
I can't wait to see what it is. Brilliant. Brilliant. Dan, you and Ben and Graham, it's been absolutely brilliant having you all on. It's been a real honour getting to meet you via WhatsApp and then via here. Thank you so much for everything that you guys do for the club continually, and thank you for giving up your evening to come and talk to us on this show today. I really appreciate it. I'm sorry Rob had to go off for a poo. That's just unfortunate. It's one of those things, you know. He said he's had a little bit of tummy trouble, so he's clicked off and had to disappear. He has no right to reply at the moment because he's not here, so I'm going to get away with saying that. But
don't
Dan,
forward any
you.
pictures on, man. Like,
no danger of that. But Dan, thank you. I hope we have the most amazing time at Wembley, and I hope we go
absolutely.
home happy. That's the plan, isn't it? So thank you so much for your
next
company.
time we speak, we'll be champions.
Let's do it. Let's make it so.
Yeah,
thank you very much indeed. You've been with Adopted Geordies, brought to you by BetMGM. We will see you again after the final.